about sweating.
他没有一张小卡。还没说。
We'll find out.
Yes, easy. Not anymore. First timer here. First timer. No?
All right, easy on the throttle there, Marky. Come on.
Well, then,
Let it out real slow, man. I don't want any accidents here.
no whiskey, probably, please.
Marco Wahlberg!
他没有一张小卡。
Ryan Phillippe is playing the role that you
Yeah,
play,
in
right?
Omar Epps.
Omar Epps. I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
Looks intense.
Yeah, it was actually one of those things where I thought I would be okay with it, and then I saw the first episode, and I was still a little jealous that I wasn't still playing that part. But you know, they're doing such a great job, and Ryan's perfect for that part. So.
Yeah, if you're jealous, then that means they are doing a good job, right?
Yeah, Bob Lee Swagger was one of those iconic roles, but
Yeah.
I think Ryan stepped right into the role, and I think it's going to be a big hit.
That's a cool character.
Yeah.
I remember that, Bob Lee Swagger. I remember you also had a dog that fetched you beer.
Absolutely.
Does the dog come back, or
The dog, we're gonna definitely have a different dog, because obviously
Okay.
they killed my dog, which is one of the big motivations for me going on the rampage
Right,
in the
right.
first movie. But Swagger. I mean, I can't go anywhere without people calling me Swagger.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which of your films, Mark, do people come up to you and mention the most?
You know what? Shooter is one of them. Four Brothers a lot. They're always asking for another Four Brothers. Of course, Ted, Boogie Nights, which it's a little much at this stage of the game being a parent. And the other thing is people call me. They always say they love me in the Born Identity. When I'm saying, and I just say thank you.
No, they don't. Are you serious?
Yeah, and Matt always gets it all the time too. He says they always say, talk about I Loved You and Ted or one of these other movies that I've done, and we just kind of laugh it off. And I never correct anybody.
You don't correct
I just say thank you very much. Got another one coming. I actually watch me in the Born Identity for this summer.
Yeah.
Check it out.
You're excited. You'll be excited like
Yeah,
that, dude.
exactly.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm also looking forward to
Deepwater Horizon.
Deepwater Horizon.
Yeah.
Man. So I saw the trailer for that too, and obviously about the Gulf Coast, and the oil spill right there. What can you tell us about that film?
Well, it's actually the largest man-made environmental disaster. But what people didn't realize, because of the lack of media coverage for the actual loss of human life, 11 people lost their lives. And it was a horrible, horrible tragedy. And we made a movie to honor those people, the survivors, and of course the 11 that lost their lives in their memory, and also their loved ones. And it's an amazing story of heroism, and it's really inspiring. I'm excited about it.
And yes, you worked with, of course,
Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor, and another true story.
Yep, and then we also just did Patriots Day, the Boston Marathon bombing movie.
Oh wow!
So that's our great trilogy right there.
In all real slices of life.
Yeah. Well, the true stories are always the things that I gravitate towards the most. You know, they're so compelling, and these characters, these ordinary guys doing extraordinary things, are so inspiring.
Yeah. Well, whenever I see in a film, like either inspired by a true story or based on real life, I'm automatically hooked.
Yeah.
It does make it more compelling.
Yeah. Well, this, because it's such a huge disaster, it's really exciting, and also the characters are so compelling. And it's amazing to discover where oil and fuel comes from and how, these things that basically make everything go around and we use in our everyday life, the risks that people take to provide us those resources.
Right, and literally everything. Yeah. Everything. And then Kate Hudson and Kurt Russell.
Their first time working together. And then John Malkovich, Dylan O'Brien, got an amazing cast.
That's amazing.
And again, it was like Lone Survivor. People realized right away it wasn't about their own individual experiences acting. It was about these people telling their stories and getting right and honoring the memory, of course, of all that and
How was it working with Kurt Russell? Because for us growing up, that was like Snake Plissken and all that.
He's fantastic, and he's a team player. So it's really, I play Mike Williams and he plays Mr. Jimmy, and we have this great relationship, and we really created a bond that I think mirrors the relationship between the real guys.
That's awesome. And you also post little stuff, as I follow you on social media, a little tease about the Transformers.
Yes.
Coming up. What
I
can
start shooting on Monday. Yeah. I just finished Patriots Day about a week and a half ago. And now I'm right into Transformers. I'm excited. It's a whole new adventure. We're now it's like this big adventure movie.
Yeah.
New cast. They just announced Anthony Hopkins today joining the cast, and I'm looking forward to working with him. Can't give away too many secrets. Obviously, Michael's got us on a short leash, but I'm excited. It's gonna be very different. I think it's a nice way to kind of transition into a whole new story.
Yeah, no, talk about that. It's such a huge month for you too, man. I know it's coming. Wahlberg.
Yeah, all in July. It's exciting, and the stuff that I've seen on Shooter, it's one of those great things because there were so many great books, and the story basically, it had everything that you loved in the movie, but then with the effects and everything else, it lends itself to go on for quite some time. And Dwayne, how bad he kills it.
He's great, man. That's so cool. I used to enjoy when I'd run into at the Grove, and you take your daughter to American Girl.
Are you going there now? Is that your spot?
That's my jam right now. That's my spot.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cool because it would just be you and her.
Yeah. Well, now my youngest, she still wants to go, but if I try to take my oldest, she wants to go to the Grove, but she wants to go to Top Shop. She does not want to go to American Girl.
How old is she?
She's 12. She's going on 25. Yeah.
Oh man, so you still got a little bit of time.
Enjoy it.
I know.
It gets crazy. The preteen stuff, and it's pretty dramatic. There's a lot of emotions going on in the household.
I bet.
Yeah.
Do you have the kids shown any sort of interest of wanting to get into the business at all? And how would you react towards that? Either encourage, discourage?
Well, I just want to make sure that they get an education first. Obviously, they decided long ago what they want to do. My two boys are definitely just into athletics, and the girls are both creative and artistic. You can't discourage them, but encourage them first to get an education, have something to fall back on. But more than likely, I think at least one or two of them will want to be in some sort of form of entertainment. But what can you do?
You just gotta support.
You gotta encourage them, whatever they want to do, as long as they have a backup plan.
Exactly. What about Mother's Day? Any plans or how you celebrate?
You know what? I'm coming home for the weekend from Transformers. So whatever my wife and kids want to do, as long as they let me play golf in the evening, I'm good. Other than that.
Well, you've always been such an early riser. Because I remember one time we were talking about working out and training together, and you said, "Yeah, I get there like at 4 a.m." I'm like, "Dang!" See, so there's no excuse. As busy as you are,
I was up at 4 today.
So you're still getting it in that early.
Well, I put on a lot of weight to play a regular cop in Boston for the Patriots Day.
Right.
So then I had 2 weeks, basically 2.5 weeks to do what I would normally do in 10 to 12 weeks, and losing weight and getting in shape. So I got up at 4 this morning, worked out, then I left and teed off at 6:15, and I ran the whole golf course. I hit the ball and just run to the next shot. I did that from 6:15 to 8 o'clock, and then I'll do some work today, and then I'll hit the rope and the bag and push-ups, and the resistance bike for probably another 30 minutes this afternoon.
What time do you usually get to bed?
if I'm up at 4, I gotta go to bed at 8. I gotta get 8 hours.
Yeah, you got
Which annoys my wife and my kids. You know, the game was on last night. We just came back from their sports banquet at school, and I was like, I gotta go to bed. Everybody was not happy.
So you go to bed with the kids or go to bed?
Yeah, or 4.
Or even before.
But hopefully not for that long. You know, I've been working hard, so if I get into shape, then I can just maintain and start actually eating again.
Nice. And I love that you're keeping up with the boxing, man.
Absolutely.
Still, and you'll appreciate this. So next week I'm doing a charity fight in Oscar Del Play for 3 rounds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, hopefully he won't get no flashback.
Yeah, he doesn't, you know, I don't think, you know, he's been enjoying life right now, so he's not in that good shape.
I'll try to work
but
the body.
I admire you for getting in there with him, you know, because
you don't play boxing, as you know.
No, even when it's for charity, you know, you're just getting in there messing around. They want to touch you up, they want to tool you up. And time you've been in there with the pros.
Yeah, they give you something just to remind you real quick.
Exactly.
Speaking of boxing.
So can we get Triple G for that one?
Oh man, believe me, that's what it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen next year.
They're
gonna let it build a little bit. It's not gonna take as long as like Pac Mayweather, but
that was a couple of years too late.
That was over marination. Yeah. They'll microwave this a little bit more. But I wanted to mention to you too. I don't know if you were aware too. Muhammad Ali is not doing too well. He's hospitalized and stuff. Have you ever had an opportunity to meet him?
I have, yes. And one of my most prized possessions is a giant picture of an old Ali Apple ad with him with his fist on the roof of a building in New York. Obviously the greatest of all time. He did so much, not only for the sport, but for the world. What a great ambassador. I saw something on the ticker this morning, but I really didn't know. You know, he's been hanging in there for such a long time. Really, I know, it reminds me when my dad had a stroke, and you know, for a long time I thought, you know, any day now my dad could pass, and then he's stuck around for like 15 years. And Muhammad Ali has just been, you know, the true, you know, definition of a fighter and survivor.
Right, both inside and outside.
Absolutely.
Mark, as you know, I've always been a big fan and supporter of yours, and we have a lot of. Thank you. Because we have a lot of the same interests, and I love that you're a proud
We've been in the game for a long time.
Well, you've been in the game for a minute. Hey, being from kids, man, growing up, the transition's tough.
Been lucky to be able to go. You know, I was joking around. They said somebody came to me and said, we got this great idea for a movie. You know, this old guy and a young guy, and you know, we want you to do the movie. So maybe I start thinking, okay, well, I love Jack Nicholson, maybe Tommy Lee Jones or Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman. You know, maybe get Gene Hackman. Then all of a sudden they said, so what do you think about Garrett Hedlund? I goes, for what? He goes, for the young guy. And I said, oh, I'm the old guy? I said, oh my God. But then
That's crazy young. You ain't that old yet.
But it took me 5 minutes to say, oh, you know what? I'm glad that I made it to the point where, you know, if I was playing the crazy kid at one time, now I can play the dad. You know, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
you know, to just be able to make it.
Especially if you just continue to build the empire.
Yeah.
But another thing that I'm always very proud of is that you put out there that you're a family man and a man of faith and Catholic, which I really and I was jealous, man, because you met the Pope in Philly.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I hosted the Festival of Families, and you know, the Pope obviously has been doing amazing things. He's really kind of transforming the church into you know, modern day. But it was one of those things where they asked me, I was a little nervous because you're much better at it than me, speaking in front of crowds and all that stuff. And so, but I said, you know what, I have to do it. I always ask in prayer to, you know, help me to be more of a, presence in the church and the community and not a spectator, you know, to be a participant. And so, next thing you know, they start asking me to do the collection at church, and then all of a sudden this guy comes and says, we host the Pope. I was really nervous. Now, mind you, the Pope hasn't watched television since the 80s, so he doesn't know me, he doesn't know you, he doesn't know anything. He was like, but it's still, when I went up to meet him, and I just said, you know, it was an honor to meet you, the only thing he didn't ask me who I was or what I do, he asked me to pray for him. And I thought, wow, and then I realized, oh my God, he literally has the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he just wants people to pray for him. And I just thought that was so nice. But to be in his presence, and you know, you and I have been around a lot of people who are hugely successful, and to see every single person like going out of their way just to get a glimpse of this man, young, old, from every corner of the world, just to get a glimpse of him, it was amazing to see.
Yeah. Cool, special moment.
I touched him up and hugged him up.
Did you touch him up?
I want to touch everything.
Right? Get all the blessing up in there.
Absolutely.
Hey, a couple little fun questions here. Is it true that you had your tattoo, or you're in the process of having all your tattoos removed and you made your kids watch?
Yeah. Well, they're gone now, but I mean, got a little tiny bit lingering there, just a little bit of the green. But it took a long time. It was really painful.
I was gonna say, that's a painful
Yeah,
process.
if you think getting tattoos are painful, removing them are twice as painful. And yeah, I thought, well, it would be smart for me to take my kids to kind of show them as a cautionary tale, this is not something you want to do. Even if you think it's cool when you're at a certain age, you'll want to remove them later on. But it's one of those things, they're not going to listen. You know, people always say to me, if you had a chance to tell the 16-year-old Mark Wahlberg, what would you tell him? And I'd say nothing, because he's not going to listen. He thinks he knows it all. But, you know, the only way you can become a really wise old man is by being a stupid young kid. So, you know, I'm just grateful that I was able to learn from my mistakes and grow and, you know, use those things to transform who I am today.
Well, you are someone that I'm very
likewise, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time.
My pleasure.
And meanwhile, please be sure to tune in to the series premiere of Shooter, executive produced by my man.
他们有一张小舞台。
Oh,